But I warned you that you must not set eyes on that pot. Why didn't you listen to me? Now listen attentively. You need to get out of that house immediately and run away as far as your legs could carry you. You are in very grave danger.
He told her. She could sense the urgency in his tone. Even though Onoriode and Adeola were madly in love with each other, there was a big problem. Onoriode was very poor, poorer than a church rat, and Adeola's parents were openly against her relationship with Onoriode, and this rejection would push him to do the unimaginable. In the bid to gain the respect he truly deserved, he met Jite, his rich friend, who introduced him into Yahoo Plus, a form of money ritual, and soon he became really rich. With so much money that he knows what to do with, he decided to pay Adeola's parents a surprise visit. It was on a Saturday morning. Adeola's parents were both surprised and in shock to see a convoy of exotic cars with some police escort following it. They soon drove into the compound. Adeola's parents were worried. They know nobody of such high status. But then, while these worried thoughts were running through their mind, Onorode stepped out of his car. Adeola's parents' jaw dropped in surprise. They could not believe this was the same poor Onorode they despised just a few months ago. He had become really wealthy, so wealthy that police special force had to follow him around. They rushed down to meet him and welcome him warmly. Bisi was overjoyed. She was doting about Onorode. She called out to Adeola, her daughter, to come out. "My daughter, come oh, your husband is here." Onorode smiled. He knew his money was doing the talking. Adeola rushed out. She was very happy and surprised to see her lover, whom she had missed greatly. They hugged tightly. There were so many questions on her mind. Where had he been? Where did he get the money? How come Onorode had become extremely wealthy in a couple of months? She was having an odd feeling that something was not right, but she could not lay her hands on it. Little did she know, great trouble was around the corner. Bisi was very proud of Onoride. She called all her friends and her neighbors to come welcome her successful son-in-law into her home. She killed a goat and prepared a delicious goat meat pepper soup for Onoride and all the well-wishers who had gathered. Onoride was being treated with so much respect and he loved it. This was the type of treatment and respect he had always wanted. While the celebration was ongoing outside, the lovebird went indoors. They were chatting happily. Onorode and Adeola soon got talking, and Adeola started questioning him. She wanted to know how come he had become extremely wealthy all of a sudden. Onorode smiled and replied her.
Sweetheart, I ran into my old-time friend who introduced me to some of his rich friends. They introduced me into real estate business and God has been faithful to me.
He told her while tapping her gently on her shoulder. With a soft smile on his face, even though the reply Onoride gave to her was pretty straightforward, Adeola could not help but feel something was out of place. What type of real estate business could afford someone such a luxurious lifestyle in such a short period of time, she thought to herself. But even though she had her doubts, she gave her lover the benefit of the doubt. She was really happy for him. Onoride soon started spending lavishly on Adeola and her family. Just after 1 week of his return, he gifted Adeola a very neat car. Along with an engagement ring, he was proposing marriage to her. Adeola could not contain her joy. While this was ongoing, Onoriode made another announcement. He was renovating Madame Bisi restaurants. This came as a big surprise to everyone. Bisi could not contain her joy. She started dancing in jubilation while calling Onorode's sweet name. Oh, my son, my only son in law, I knew it. I know one day you will become successful and take our family from lack and want. She praised him. Onorode was very happy with the respect his massive wealth has earned him. But despite all this success, something was giving him great concern. It was the condition the old native doctor gave to him for the rituals. He must not sleep with the same ladies twice, and even the ladies he was sleeping with were dying. He knew this was not good because he really loved Adeola and he wanted to marry her. But how is he going to sleep with her without putting her in harm's way? He thought to himself while shaking his head. He knew he must do something about this situation and do it really fast. So the very next day, Onoride ran back to the native doctor's shrine with the request for the condition for the ritual to be changed. The old man listened as Onoride pleaded with him.
Please, Baba, first, I want to thank you for making me wealthy. But please, I want you to reverse this ritual. I want to get married now to the girl I love. Please help me so that nothing will happen to her if I sleep with her.
He told him with pleading eyes. The old man laughed hysterically. After a while, he replied to him.
Ha ha ha! My son, there is nothing I can do about this. There's no going back now. Just go and enjoy your money.
He told him with an authoritative look. Onoriode was devastated. He knew trouble was looming around the corner. Meanwhile, even though Adeola and Onoriode were back together, she could not help but notice that something was not right. Even though he was always taking her out, buying her expensive things, and giving her the best treatment money could provide, something was bothering her. Onoriode was not allowing her into his home. Even if she visits, he won't allow her into his bedroom, and she must not sleep over. And this was a source of constant conflicts between both of them. She just could not make much sense of why he was behaving this way. Babe, why don't you want me to sleep over at your place? Did I wrong you in any way? Why are you treating me this way? You don't even touch me anymore. Am I not beautiful enough? She would ask him while sobbing. This really broke his heart, but there was nothing he could do about it, and he could not tell her what the matter was either.
Why are you always bringing up this issue? I've told you before now. I just needed time for myself. Am I not taking good care of you? Just give me time. Everything will be alright.
He would tell her with his tone, calm but resolute. Adeola could see clearly that he was not being truthful with her. She knows Onoriode very well. This was unlike him. Adeola could still remember how both of them would play around and cuddle each other warmly in the cold evening, even when they had nothing. But now he had become really successful. He had become really cold and evasive. Adeola was really disturbed and she confided in her mother about what was going on, but Bisi could not see anything wrong. My daughter, why are you working yourself up for nothing? You need to understand that Onorode is a very busy man. You better get used to it so that when he gets married to you, you won't be running into issues, she would tell her. Even though these reassuring words from her mother suited the mind of Adeola, deep down she could not help but feel something was seriously out of place. And it was not long before something happened that confirmed her suspicion. Adeola soon became friends with Tiwa, one of Onorode's neighbors. Whenever Adeola came visiting Onorode, she would always make sure to stop by at Tiwa's place. where they would gossip and gist. But on this fateful day, the conversation was not about some random things as usual. Things were about getting really serious. When Adeola visited a friend, she could tell almost immediately that she was not happy. Something was bothering her. Tiwa's expression was moody. Adeola asked her what the matter was. Initially, she said she was fine, but upon further probing by Adeola, Tiwa let the cat out of the bag. My friend, something had been bothering me for some time now, but I don't know how to tell you or how you will take it either, she started. Her expression was really serious. Adeola was very confused. What was her friend driving at? She had known Tiwa for some time now, and she had never seen her this disturbed once. She wondered what the matter could be. While these confused thoughts were running through her mind, Tiwa continued. It's about Onoride, your boyfriend. He is cheating on you with other ladies. He run after anything in a skirt. In short, I wonder why he womanizes this much when he had a beautiful lady like you. T.Y. dropped the bombshell. Adeola was in shock. It took her a minute or two before she could properly process what she just heard. Another cheating on her with other ladies was the last thing she could think of, and this information came as a big blow to her. She was both angry and confused. See, Tiwa, let today be the last day you will ever accuse my fiance in such a manner. I know my baby very well, and I know what he is capable of doing. And cheating on me is the last thing he would ever do, she told her with a stern face, much to Tiwa's dismay. Even before Tiwa could explain anything to her, she grabbed her bag and stormed out of the house. Back at home, several thoughts were running through her mind. She was heartbroken and was praying in her heart that Tiwa was wrong about her boyfriend. Even though she had boldly defended Onorode in the presence of Tiwa, yet that was eating deep within her. It began to make more sense to her. Maybe he is really cheating on me. No wonder he is no longer touching me and won't even allow me into his bedroom. Even for once, she thought to herself, with tears flowing down her face. She was totally devastated. And because of what Tiwa told her, she started suspecting every of Onorode's move, whether he is on his phone or even making a phone call. She was dying of jealousy, and this brought a strain to their already rocky relationship. They were always quarreling over any trivial issues. And in the bid to satisfy her curiosity and clear her doubt, Adeola started secretly stalking Onorode everywhere he went, and obviously it was not long before she caught him red-handed with a lady. Because of the condition the Baba gave to him, he must sleep with at least two ladies weekly to automatically renew the rituals and guarantee that his clients would keep paying him. On this fateful morning, Onorode was very surprised to see Adeola in his house. She had not informed him that she was coming over. With him was the lady he just spent the night with. He did not know Adeola had been following him around. Adeola was very mad with him, and she did not hide her displeasure from him. Babe, so this is what you have been doing behind my back. After all I went through because of you, this is how you could pay me back? So you have been neglecting me because of these ladies. Where were all these ladies when you had nothing? In fact, it is over. Don't ever come near me anymore, she told him while crying profusely. Her heart rent in 1,000 pieces. She threw the engagement ring she had collected from him back at him and left angrily for home, leaving behind the car Onorode had gifted her. Onorode knew this was a serious issue and his relationship was on the verge of breaking up. He died her line, but it was not going through. She had blocked his line. Onorode was devastated. He knew the only person Adeola would listen to was Bisi, her mother, and he rushed down to her before the matters could get out of hand. At Adeola's place, Onoriode fell on his knees. He was crying and pleading with Adeola to forgive him, that he would turn a new leaf. Bisi was really moved by Onoride's repentant spirit, and she pleaded with her daughter to forgive him, and because of the interference of her parents, she forgave him and they reconciled. And out of happiness of winning his fiancée back, Onoriode shocked everyone. He surprised Adeola with a brand new house to tell her thank you for accepting him back, much to the joy of everyone. Adeola just could not contain her joy. She wondered what she had done to deserve such favor and blessings. She embraced him warmly while shedding tears of joy. Onoriode and Adeola came back together, and their love was strong more than ever. He was always taking her out and giving her some really good experience, but then the old problem still persisted. He was not allowing her into his room, and she must not sleep over at his place, not even for once, as he made an attempt to sleep with her. And whenever she made any move to lure him to sleep with her, it would always end in a hot quarrel. He was not touching her, yet he was still sneaking behind her back to sleep with other ladies. Adeola was really confused and devastated. Adeola knew something was just off, but she could not pinpoint it, and she was really bothered. And whenever she complained to her mother, she would simply wave off her concern. "Maybe he is keeping you for your wedding night," she would tell her reassuringly. Adeola was deep in thought. Even though Onoriode was frequently cheating on her and behaving in ways she could not really understand, she resolved in her heart to stay with him, hoping that he would change for the better soonest. Little did she know something would happen that would change everything totally. It all happened on the Saturday morning. Adeola drove to a nearby market to get some food items she would use to prepare a meal. But while she was getting this item, something happened. Nearby, a pastor was preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ to the market women. When the man of God saw Adeola, he stopped and beckoned to her that he needed to have a word with her immediately, and she followed him. Once they were out of the hearing of others, the man of God started.
Young lady, I know this is the first time we are meeting each other, but then I want you to take what I will tell you very serious.
He started. Adeola was taken aback, wondering what he was driving at. Anyway, he continued.
Your boyfriend is really rich and he loves you so much, but he is keeping a very dark secret from you. He told you he's a businessman. That was a lie. He is a ritualist. For the money to keep coming, any lady he sleeps with must die. That is why he don't want to be intimate with you. Below the bed in his bedroom is a native pot. That is where the souls of the ladies are being trapped for the rituals. But no other eyes must see this pot, or else he would go insane.
He told her. Adeola was in shock. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. This man was seeing her for the first time, and he already knew some really personal information about her. Even though she did not fully trust this man, she collected his phone number. She thanked him and left for home. Back at home, Adeola was deep in thought. Even though she still had her doubts, she could not help but see some sense in what the man of God have told her. But then she wanted to be sure that this man was not lying to her and trying to get into her head. And that was when she decided she must see things for herself. She would secretly sneak into Onoride's bedroom and check if indeed there is a native pot in his bedroom, she thought to herself. But then she knows that getting into Onorode's bedroom was not going to be a piece of cake. Onorode was very secretive and always made sure to lock his bedroom door at all times. He knew no one else must see that native pot or else he would be done for. Adeola thought long and hard about how she was going to gain access into Onorode's bedroom without raising his suspicion, and after a while, the perfect idea struck her. With a broad smile on her face, she made preparation to pay Onorode a visit. At Onorode's place, everything went on pretty smoothly. Adeola was in the kitchen preparing some meal for Onorode, while Onorode was in the living room playing a video game. Adeola knew Onorode loved playing video games. Once he started playing this game, he would be so carried away that nothing else matters. And this was the window of opportunity she had been waiting for. She tiptoed into the living room and grabbed Onorode's bedroom key that had been lying on one of the sofa. She hurried back to the kitchen with the key and she pressed the key into a bar of soap, which left the pattern of the key on the soap. This done, she quickly slipped the key back to the sofa where it was lying before. Onorode was still playing the game with no idea what was happening. After they finished eating, Adeola bid Onorode farewell and left, carrying along the bar soap containing the key pattern. She went straight to a locksmith. Following the pattern of the soap, he successfully created an exact replica of Onorode's room key. Much to Adeola's joy, back at home that night, Adeola lay on her bed with so many thoughts running through her mind, even though she was happy that she could now put an end to her misery and find some answers to the questions that have been troubling her. She still had her concern. The word of the man of God at the market were still fresh in her mind. She must not set eyes on the native pot or else Onorode would run mad. He had warned her. Even though she was worried, her curiosity took the better of her, and she decided she was seeing things for herself. She was going there the following day. Meanwhile, that same night, Onorode was awake on his bed with so many worried thoughts running through his mind. He was really rich and well respected by everyone, but at what cost? The ritual he was involved in was taking the life of several ladies. He could not even spend time with Adeola, the only one he truly cared about. And because of Adeola, he decided he was finding a solution to this problem so he could marry Adeola and raise a family with her. And he made up his mind to visit Jite, his boss, the following day to see if there could be any remedy to this issue. And true enough, the following day, Onorode left home for Jite's place. He was determined to stop the ritual, and after a while, Adeola drove into Onorode's compound. She was very glad when the gateman informed her that Onorode was not around. She had a spare key to the entrance door, so her getting in was not a problem, and soon she was indoors. Meanwhile, Onorode was already at Jite's place. He was complaining bitterly that he was tired of all the rituals and was not deriving any joy from his massive wealth. But while he was still speaking with Jite, something happened. He started feeling a strange sensation wash through him. He knew something was seriously wrong. He knew immediately someone had entered into his bedroom. And he was right. With no one around, and with Onorode's duplicate key in hand, Adeola gained access into Onorode's bedroom pretty quickly, and she made straight for Onorode's bed. And true to the words of the man of God, right under Onorode's bed was a strange-looking native pot with cowries and some strange things inside of it, with smoke coming out of the pot. Her jaw dropped in horror. She was very afraid and in shock. With shaking hands, she dialed the number the pastor gave to her, and luckily he picked up. Adeola narrated everything to the pastor. The pastor was dumbfounded. He could not believe Adeola would still enter the bedroom after how much he warned her.
But I warned you that you must not set eyes on that pot. Now listen attentively. You need to get out of that house immediately and run away as far as your legs could carry you. You are in very grave danger.
He told her she could sense the urgency in his tone. Adeola was filled with fear because of the words from the man of God. She rushed out of the house, jumped into her car, and zoomed off. Back at Jite's place, things were getting worse. Onoriode was fidgeting and shaking. He had not felt this way before. He knew something was totally wrong. He called his security man to confirm if anyone entered into the house in his absence, and the gateman informed him that Adeola just went in a few moments ago and drove off just a few minutes later. Jite and Onoriode were horrified. They knew Adeola had seen that pot, and the consequences for this was brutal. Jite advised Onoriode that they should run back to the Baba's place immediately to find a solution to this problem before things get out of hand. And they rushed down to the old man's place. But there, at the old man's shrine, even before they could say anything, the old man burst into laughter and started speaking some strange language. After a while, he stopped. Turning to Onoriode, he started.
What have you done? You allowed someone else to set eyes on your sacred pot. Now, get ready to bear the consequences.
He told him. His facial expression was very grim. Onoriode was horrified. He explained everything that happened to the old man and begged him to find a solution for him. The thought of becoming a madman was just too horrible for him to bear. Hey, before we jump right back into our story, today's massive hug goes to Khalid, watching from Idi-Araba, Lagos, Blessing, watching from Cameroon, and Natasha, watching from Jamaica. Thank you so much for the love and support. Please, where are you watching us from? Type it in the comment section so I can send you a hug in the next episode. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and leave a like on this video. Alright, back to our story. The old man threw his carries on the mat in front of him and started speaking some strange incantation once more. After a while, he stopped.
Now listen and listen attentively. You must find this girl and strangle her to death within the next 3 days. Otherwise, you will run mad forever and nothing would save you.
Onoriode was dejected. He left the shrine weeping, with 1,000 thoughts running through his mind. He really loved this girl. Why must it be Adeola, of all people, that this ritual is requesting? Why must she be the one to set eyes on this spot? He pondered in his heart, with more bitter tears flowing down his face. Even though he loves Adeola, he knew he must unalive her if he cared about his sanity. So he hurried back home with murder in his eyes. The moment he got back home, he dialed Adeola's number, but her line was not going through. Much to his sorrow, he immediately rushed down to the house he bought for her, but the whole place was locked up. No one was at home. He wondered where Adeola could be. He rushed down to her family's house, but she was not there either. Bisi told him they had not set eyes on Adeola for some time. Onoriode knows this was not a good sign. He checked all her friends' place, but she was not there either. Adeola had went into hiding. Onoriode knows the clock was ticking, and just a few hours of Adeola seeing the pot, it was already having its toll on him. He was beginning to hear whisper of female voices in his ears. These were the souls of the ladies he had taken, because the covenant Onoriode went into had been breached. The souls he had taken were starting to torment him. He could not eat or sleep. he was very restless. For 2 days, he combed the city looking for Adeola. He checked all the places he knew she could be at, but she was nowhere to be found. That was when it dawned on him that Adeola was invading him. Someone must have tipped her of his evil intentions, he thought to himself, but he wondered how come she knew his plans. Meanwhile, Onoriode started thinking hard, wondering if there could be any solution to his problem. That was when it struck him that he must go back to his hometown and confess to his parents. Maybe they could find solution to this problem, he thought to himself. But going back to the village was a hard nut for him to crack. He had left his aging parents to wallow in poverty after he had become wealthy, even though he was the cause of their extreme poverty. After selling the family large farmland and mismanaging the funds some time ago, even though he knew they would be mad at him, he had no other option but to go back. His time was running out. He could tell, because the voices were getting louder and the torment more severe. So that very night, against all odds, he drove off to his village. The journey back home was rocky. He could feel the heavy presence of the ladies he had destroyed. They were screaming and singing in his ears. But somehow, the next morning, he managed to get to his village. Onoride's parents were surprised and happy to see their only son. They have been trying to reach him all this while, all to no avail. They had forgiven him since then and were ready to take him back into the family. Even though their child had become successful, they could tell immediately that something was terribly wrong. Onoriode was just a shadow of his former self. Onoriode told his parents that he had a confession to make. They could tell that whatever Onoriode wanted to say must be something very serious. So they called on some of the village elders to come listen to his confession. With the elders around, Onoriode started narrating everything he did in his quest to become wealthy, and that he was at the verge of running mad because of the ritual. This confession came as a shock to everyone. The elders immediately swung into action. They were in a heated deliberation on the best course to take to reverse the rituals. But then, while they were still discussing among themselves, Onoriode started laughing hysterically. While talking to some invisible people, he tore his clothes and started dancing, even though no music was playing. The elders shook their head. They knew what was happening. It was already too late. He was running mad, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. Onoriode suddenly stopped dancing, and before anyone could hold him down, he ran out of the house into the street, a madman. And soon enough, the news of what Onoriode did spread through the community like wildfire. Until date, the story of Onoriode is used by the elders to advise the younger ones on the evil of dirty wealth and quick gains. So here bring this story to a close. What did you learn from this story? Please share it with us in the comment section so we can all learn from it. Thank you for watching today's episode from Anita Chocolate. Please don't forget to support my work by subscribing to this channel. Also turn on the notification bell so you will be the first to see the next upload. And also share this video with your loved ones and watch these other amazing stories from our channel while waiting for the next story. Bye.